All right, guys, we're here with another Martial Arts Monday. I got the Wild Pack with me, and today we're going to cover a group of techniques that are no longer legal in judo tournaments. They're leg grabs. And when I used to compete, we used to be able to do leg grabs. They have since taken them out, not because they're dangerous or a safety issue. It's simply because the Olympic Committee and the IJF, which is the International Judo Federation, has tried to make judo look very different from wrestling. And wrestling has a lot of leg picks, so they've tried to make judo now do the bigger throws and get away from the leg grabs. So leg grabs are still part of traditional judo. It's still part of the training we do here at my dojo. But if you do it in a tournament, you will get penalized, and if you do it too much, you'll get disqualified. So we're going to show you legitimate throws that are no longer legal in judo. Now, just to be clear, these are not forbidden techniques. There's a whole group of judo techniques that are considered forbidden techniques, and they're forbidden because they're dangerous. They're unsafe to do them. So these are not those. These are illegal techniques. Okay? And we'll tell you all about it right now.
So this is Marotegare, which means double-handed reap. This is what it looks like. Use a different angle. So, Marotegare starts off with the right heavy stance in a normal grip, but you're going to drop down until your head is belt level. Then you're going to step in, grab behind the knees, and then pull up with your head. Here's what it looks like dynamically. Now this is a variation for wrestling. Here's a different angle. So the wrestling style variation actually is based off of a shoot. You don't necessarily have to grab the gi on your opponent, but you're going to do the same thing, bend down to get belt level, and then your right hand is going to shoot in between their legs and grab the back of the knee. The left leg steps up, and then you grab behind the knees as you would in the original version. Then you're going to drive at an angle instead of straight back. Here's what this would look like dynamically. And now it's Marotegare.
Alright, so moving on from Sensei Brennan's technique, Marotegare, we're going to do another technique that's very similar. It's going to be called Kochiki Daoshi, which translates to one-hand drop. There's a different point of view. And a very interesting thing about this throw is that you can actually do it from inside the legs. So I'm going to show you that real quick. So what differentiates this throw from the last throw is that, first of all, I'm using one hand instead of using two hands, like the last throw. This one I'm going to grab, first version is the outside. Make sure that your hand's always behind the knee. It won't be the same throw if it's behind the calf or behind the heel. So make sure it's all behind me. As you lift, you want to use your hand to pull and push him down. See, he's off balance right now, he's jumping. So if I go all at once like this, he has nowhere to jump to, and he falls onto his back. The other version is inside the legs. So right here, I step in, I grab behind the knee, I pull up, and see that? He's already off balance. And I pull back towards his shoulder, and I drive it to the ground. I'm going to show it to you in a dynamic situation now. So notice, Sensei Brennan actually did a Izaguruma right there. That's when you try to sweep right below the knee. This throw actually is a perfect counter towards that throw. Because he puts his leg in a perfect situation where I can grab it and just throw him onto his back. So Brandon, come on, you can do it one more time, slowly. So right here, his leg is perfect in position for me. So I just grab his knee right here, pull it up, and right here. Does this look familiar? Right here. And it's a very good counter for it, and that is Kuchiki Daoshi.
Okay, our next hand technique, leg grab, is called Kibisu Gaishi, which means heel trip. And we're going to show it to you from two different angles. Okay, so let's talk about it real quick. Just like Kuchiki Taoshi, it's a single arm, not double arm grab. And in this one, it is called heel trip. So on Kibisu Gaishi, Hossein would grab behind the knee. So show us towards camera. Now for this one, heel trip, specifically, he has to grab the heel. Okay? Now, just like with Kuchiki Taoshi, this one is on the outside. You could do it on the inside as well. So guys, show me from two different directions from the inside. Okay, so that is both from the outside and inside for this throw. Now, for me, this was a very good throw I used to use competitively. Okay, so I'm going to let these guys show it to you dynamically how it looks right now. Then I'm going to add a modification to it the way I used to do it. So let's see it dynamically, guys. Okay, now that was Kibisu Gaishi in a dynamic competitive type situation. Now, when I used to use it, I used to add a modification. So if we were playing in a tournament, a lot of times we'd end up getting this one-handed grip. Me on his lapel and him on my elbow. And what I would want to do is try to grab his elbow, but he doesn't want me to have that. And I don't want him to have my chest. So I'd put my chest back and he'd pull his elbow back. And that would get us to play like this. But look, we're both playing heavy with our feet close to each other, right? That's a perfect setup for me to add my modification. So what I would do is I'd add a little foot sweep to it. So I'd step in here with my weight on this foot, and I'd give a push on his shoulder. When I did, I would come up with the back foot and tap his heel right here into my hand. And then from there, I could seesaw right down. Okay? So in a dynamic situation, or semi-dynamic here, I would come up, tag, grab, right here. From here, and see how low I am? This way I can get the full seesaw on the throw. Okay? Now in competition, of course, I wouldn't let go of him like I just did. I would follow through and go onto the ground. But we're trying to show you in an idealistic situation how this throw would look. Okay? So that would be a modification. Even though it is considered a hand technique, this little foot sweep just gets it started. The hand still does the technique, so that's still considered a hand throw. Okay? And that's Kibisu Gaishi. Okay, so our next leg grab we're going to show is actually a very popular one back when I used to compete. And it's called Teguruma, which is a very simple name, which just means hand wheel. Okay? And so Brendan's going to show it to us from two different types of attack. First, we're going to show the normal, generic Teguruma. So let's see just regular Teguruma. Okay? So Brendan comes out, grabs the leg, and it's a big lift up, and he dumps him. Okay? It's effective from the front, but it does require a lot of power. Okay? The best time to use this throw is as a counter. So Hossein will turn in for a technique, and Brendan will use this to counter it. So let's see it. Okay? And so that is an excellent way to do this throw, and this, honestly, when I used to compete, was the most common way to do it. So let's see if we can show that dynamically. So come back out for me, guys. And that was Teguruma. Very good leg grab throw. Okay, the next one we're going to show is called Kata Ashi Dori, which means single leg hold drop. It's a strange name for a strange throw, but it's actually a modification of a different throw. But we'll show it to you first and then break it down. So let's look at it. Okay, now we typically refer to this throw as just Ashi Dori. And Ashidori is a very powerful throw. It's a hard fall for the guy taking the fall. Okay, so they come in, and what happens is Hossein hooks the leg, very similar to Kuchiki Taoshi, single leg grab. And he's going to lift it, but as he does, he steps through and sweeps out the leg. Brendan has no means of support and falls straight on his own back. Okay, now here's the interesting part about this. This is a throw, and we teach it by this name. But according to actual traditional Japanese, this is not a real throw. This is a modification of ouchigari. Okay? So, Hossein, can you show us ouchigari and switch sides for me? Okay? So you see, he reaps on the inside of the leg. Now, for Ashidori, switch sides for me. He's still going to reap inside the leg. The only difference is he's lifting the other leg first. And then he steps in and reaps that leg. Okay? Now, here's one critical component to this throw. When you do this throw, the reap is actually very minor. Okay? One key component here is when you do this throw, you have to walk through your opponent. Your body, your upper torso, does most of the throw, honestly. So show it. And I want y'all to pay attention. So the leg's going to be minor. The body's going to be most of the impact. Okay? And so this throw involves a lot of contact. And that's why it's a different kind of leg grab. And it's considered a modification of ouchigari. Okay? But still, we consider it Ashidori, and it is something we teach as Ashidori. Okay?
Alright, thanks for watching this video, and be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment, and make sure to keep it wild.
Stop.